thank you for this day. And I thank you for keeping us alive. Thank you for providing this opportunity for us to have this moment and learn. Please guide us, give us the knowledge and understanding so that we get to understand everything that is going to be taught today. I pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
And thank you so much, Dorothy, for the word of prayer, and would like to welcome all the members that are joining this call. Thank you so much for joining. Our program will run like this. We shall have just a few introductions, then we shall have opening remarks from Mr. Wille. From there, we shall go on to have remarks from AR, and then we shall go into our session, and then we shall as well have some assessment to check out. We shall have a knowledge check whether we have actually understood what has been taught to us. And then lastly, we shall have a closing remarks. So today briefly, we shall look at what is AR, what is VR, and then we shall look at what it can do, its power, and the rest of that. So that is what we are going to look at today. Now, in today's session still, we are going to have an attendance form for us to register. And once we reach at around 30:30, we shall cross off that link. Yes, we shall cross off the link. So this one is to take the register for the people who are attending the session. So in the chat, we are going to post a link. So what you do, you click on that link. We are going to give you some 2 minutes. Click on that link and then fill in those details that they are asking for in the link. So just click on that link and let's not share it outside for members who are not on a call. So we do expect that since we are around 70, then those are the members we shall expect to have filled in the form. So thank you so much. And at this juncture, allow me to invite Mr. Francis to give us his remarks. Mr. Francis, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody who is online. I want to wish you Happy New Year and wish you a prosperous one. On behalf of UICT, I want to take this pleasure to warmly welcome you to this training conducted by Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technology on a augmented virtual reality training demonstration program. Sincerely thank you for taking your time to participate in this important national initiative. Your presence today represents not just attendance at a training session, but a commitment to shaping the future of education and digital skills development in Uganda. This program has been designed with a clear purpose to empower school teachers as digital change agents, teachers are the most powerful catalyst of transforming an education system. And by equipping you with practical, immersive, innovative digital tools, particularly through STEM, AVR platforms, we are enabling you to extend digital skills far beyond this training into your classroom, schools, and community across the country. So this training you are undertaking today goes beyond theories. It's a live, interactive, and viable demonstration of digital skills in action. It reflects UICT's national mandate to move from planning to delivery, from concepts to impact, and from isolated pilots to scalability solutions. So through this cascade model, the knowledge and the skills you'll gain here are expected to multiply, reaching learners, fellow teachers, and communities nationwide. We are also conducting this program at a strategic moment as Uganda advances its digital transformation agenda and as an education system responds to evolving technological demands, the roles of the teacher must equally evolve. You are not just educators, you are innovators, mentors, and leaders of digital change. So I encourage you, each of you, to engage actively, ask questions, collaborate, and explore how these tools can be adapted in your specific teaching context. Your feedback and participation will help shape future nation digital skills initiatives. And I now reaffirm UICT's commitment to support you beyond this training. We see you as partners in building digital empowerment education system and future-ready generations. I want to welcome you, and I want to take this opportunity to welcome our academic registrar, Madam Agnes, to officially welcome us and open this training. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis. I think it is clear, you know, why our members, I've listened to you carefully. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with the camera, and then I will switch it off so that you can put a face to the voice. Let me switch it on briefly. That's who I am. My name is Agnes Frida Namlindwa Lumala. I'm the academic registrar of the Uganda Institute of Information and Communications Technology. I welcome you all. I welcome you, the participants, who I consider the guests, the most important guests of the day. I welcome the trainers and mostly I welcome the entities that have chosen to partner with us to help. We don't take it for granted at all that you've come with us on this journey from very far. So for me, you know, now Francis has covered all the complicated things, the cascades and things. So for me, I'll remain very simple. Mine will be to show where we are on this journey. He has made it very clear. We are ensuring that you are tooled with the right digital skills to run the classroom in today, not so much yesterday, though yesterday is important to tell us where we are going, and more so for tomorrow. So if you look at our journey, and I will specifically focus on our journey with help in this digital skilling. For a very long time, we've done basic digital literacy training. And in those trainings, we promised to still handhold you as technologies emerge. So we are back. We are now back to say, look, there is this technology by now going away from emerging. It's us as Uganda who have come at a time. I don't like to say we are late. No, this is our time. This is the time we've managed. For those who believe in God, this is the time God has made. And now we are back to say, look, there is this technology that helps you to get to as close as possible to reality. And therefore, for you who are always getting the learner as close as possible to reality, you know, you're taking the children out of the classes, you're telling them to pick leaves off trees so that they observe the trees and they go back inside and talk about chlorophyll and all these things. So for that important part of you, we say, look, this technology is now extremely important for you as a tool. Mark that very important word, as a tool to take into the classroom to make that close to reality as achievable as possible. So as you ask yourself, why are you talking to me about augmented and virtual reality today? The real answer is we are continuing in a journey that we started before. We are very optimistic that after this, we are going to see a lot, especially in the classrooms that have, the classrooms where CBC is already the norm, because this technology really, really stimulates, learning, and it also aids innovation by far. To Mr. Kaziba, thank you for allowing to move with us, in the journey. You're always with us. You become, but I think you're a chameleon in this one. Mr. Kaziba, you can put in the chat if you don't agree with me calling you the digital skilling chameleon, so that I change that. But for me, I feel you're this very useful chameleon who we turn into whatever we would like to become, so that we translate these technologies, to reach the classroom. And for that, we really don't take it for granted. I wish you very well. Please utilize every minute of this, and Mr. Kaziba will be guiding you on what our next steps are, how we come to your individual schools, not just as a group, but your individual schools, to support and see that these technologies are a reality in your actual classroom. With that, I open this training and I look forward to the results. To the gentleman who asked for the slides, I would like I'm going to put a thumbs up after this. And the reason I'm putting a thumbs up after this is that you're showing us that, these have become basics. As you deliver any knowledge, any information, as you talk to others. And it's very encouraging that your first instinct is to ask for something that's a digital product, because you want to uptake information. So I applaud you very much. I've seen answers. I want to go into the answers. But for me, my takeaway was the journey we've walked to ensure our people are digitally literate, I think, is bearing some fruit. With that, let me leave you to continue with the rest of the program, and I wish you very, very well.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Agnes and Mr. Francis, for officially opening the session. And thank you so much for those remarks and for always sourcing for the best tools that the education system can utilize. And thank you so much, UICT, for always supporting the system, the education system. I know last year they were able to train teachers, and now here they are to train teachers again. For those who are just joining in, we have shared a link in the chat there. So just click on that link and then you'll be able to register for this session. We shall close it off such that we are able to capture those who have been able to attend the session. So we are going to dive into our session today, and I will share my screen. I will share my screen. Okay. I am sure my screen is on. Mr. Francis, kindly confirm whether you are able to see my screen.
Yes, I confirm. Mr. Kaziva.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So today, we are going to look at what you are seeing on my screen, the photo, that picture you are seeing of that student from Balala SS. That is the kind of technology we want to interact with. That is the kind of technology we want to bring to your schools. That is the kind of technology we want to take into our classes. There are certain things where the world has gone that we no longer need to do. But with this technology we are going to look at today, we shall be able to know how can we be able to take it into our classroom. What you see the girl holding, those are what we call the virtual hands. Those are the virtual hands that we can have and take these students, we immerse them into the world that is very imaginative and very interesting. So today we are going to mainly look at an introduction of what we call augmented reality and what we call virtual reality. So that is what we are going to look at today. We are going to have an introduction and our learning outcomes by the end of this session. We do expect that each one of you will be able to define what is augmented reality and what is virtual reality. Some of you have been using these tools, but probably you didn't know that that is their names. Then we are going to look at what is the difference between those tools. We are going to look at the basics on how these tools work. We are going to identify common examples of these tools, and also we are going to look at the different experiences and importance and how we can utilize them in our class. Why do we need them? But it's not going to only concentrate in classes, but also outside the class, in the business world, in the health profession. How can we utilize these particular tools? And allow me to start. When you look at the picture I have displayed, this is something I know many of you have been interacting with. Those who are on TikTok, I know many of you have been seeing things of this nature. In the chat, maybe members can let me know, how do we obtain this in when you are using those different things, or how is it called? I know many of you, some of you are on TikTok, you're on Snapchat, you're on Instagram. You have been able to convert your face into this kind of nature. You have gone on to see search. You have gone on to see search on TikTok, on the different media platforms that you use. And I know these ones that sometimes you term them as effects, but this kind of technology is what we want to tell you. This kind of technology, you notice that there is a real person, but also there is a virtual kind of. So this is where we are heading. Now, all this has a component of what we call augmented reality. So when we talk about augmented reality, these things you have been interacting with, that is where they lie. You have seen such pictures whereby someone gets a picture, her picture, he changes it into different components, he puts there what he wants. Like when you look at this picture, you can notice that this person on her face, she was able to add on some flowers, she was able to add on some things, she was able to put something on the nose. So this is what we call now augmented reality. You have seen when you look at this, some of you, I know you may not have interacted with this kind of technology, whereby in case you want to buy something from maybe a shop, you don't need to go there in the shop. No, for you stay at your home, you get your phone, then have your camera on, and then get the app, look at the items they have in the shops, and then point your phone in your sitting room and then check whether this particular item can fit into your room, whether it is the suitable size. Now, that is the kind of technology we call the augmented reality. Those who have used the IKEA app, you might have noticed that kind of thing. Some of you may want to check out, in case you are going to buy tables, you want to check out, will this table be able to fit into my house? Now, in order for you to check whether it will be able to fit, how will it look like? Now, that is what we call augmented reality. There is an app you can use to check out whether actually this can fit. In case you are buying school items, you may check, in case I buy this kind of computers, how will they look in my computer room? So you keep on checking, even you position it and you see how beautiful will it be. In case you are going to buy chairs at your home, you can even first check and see if I place that chair. When you look at this photo, you are noticing that this gentleman here was checking the kind of chair he wanted to buy at his home. And therefore, he pointed it in the space where he wanted to place it. And now he was looking, saying, will it fit very well? Will it be very good in this position? So even you can keep on checking, will it be able to fit such that you can get the actual size you really want? And now, what is augmented reality? Now, when we talk about augmented means to be added, to be added, to be made greater, to add an amount, to make something stronger. That's what we call augmented. So augmented means that there is something you are going to add on something. So when we talk about augmented reality, we are looking at that kind of technology that adds onto either an image, a graphic, it can be an audio, it can be a text onto the real thing. That you as like the way you saw those pictures of a person, when you add filters, when you add effects onto yourself, that kind of addition is what we call augmented reality. That you are getting the technology, you are getting the technology bit of it, and you are adding it onto the physical world, onto the physical thing. So that is what we call augmented reality. Therefore, augmented reality has two components, has the real thing, the physical thing, and has the other thing that involves the technology. It can be an image, it can be a text, it can be an audio, it can be graphics. However, its beauty is it is able to enhance, it is able to bring it in a three-dimensional environment. When we talk about three-dimensional environment, we are looking at that kind of environment whereby you can be able to see like the length, the width, the height. You can see the component. Like I know you have had people tell people, you turn 360, you turn around. So you are able to see all other components very well. So that is the kind of technology we want to look out for. And when it comes to education, there are quite a number of concepts we do teach in our in classes, but we may not be able to show the child very well how this component looks like. In case maybe you're handling mathematics and you are handling topics maybe of vectors, you want to show them planes, you are handling things in ICT, but your children may not be able to see them clearly. So this kind of technology can help us in that thing. Some of you want to go and visit areas. You want to go and visit, maybe you want to go to Ginger, you want to go to America, you want to go here and there, but you may not be in position to go there. So using this kind of technology, you can reach there. You can reach there. So that kind of, it brings out the physical thing. Many of you have been using Google Maps. Those Google Maps you see, they use this kind of technology, what we call the augmented reality. And therefore, where do we use? I'm going to give you some examples of what we call the augmented reality. I'm going to use some of the common ones. There is a company called the Adidas. Adidas, they manufacture shoes for people. Now, being that shoes is their main activity, that is the main product that they do produce. When COVID hit, they could not have their customers go into their shops to try to buy shoes. People wanted to buy, but they could not fit, and it is always not good for you to buy something that is not going to fit you. So Adidas used this kind of technology. They designed an app. That app they designed, you could go shop the shoe you want from their shop. After getting that shoe from their shop, you could try it on your feet. You try it out, you check whether it can fit you or it cannot fit you. You check whether it is good on your side or it is not good on your side. But they could do it virtually. So now that is the kind of technology that we are looking at. Let me check here. Maybe I can show you something about it. When you look at my screen, this is the Adidas. This is now Nick. That is the shoe you want to buy, but you can fit it into yourself and see how does it look. So as long as you have the app, you point the app towards your feet and then check out, can it fit me? Yes. Then this is another one. So here is like you don't need to go to those shops where you have like there you display your clothes. So someone can fit in those particular clothes and see how do they look after buying that particular shirt, after buying that particular cloth. Now that kind of technology is what we call augmented reality. The virtual one are this kind of clothes the person has added onto themselves. Then the physical one is the real person. So that is what we call this kind of technology. Another one, we call them the Netflix. They use that kind of technology. I've already told you about IKEA. Now this one, IKEA, is mainly into furniture. For them, what they do is that in case you want to buy things at your home, what do? You go on their app, look out for that particular furniture you want to buy from their shops. After getting that particular furniture you want, you go to your home, have your camera of your phone face the place where you want to place that furniture, and then you'll see how that furniture will look like in your home. Then they add that kind of technology can also tell you whether it can fit inside or it may not fit. They'll even show you the dimensions of that particular furniture. They will even go on to show you everything about how the different colors that can match your particular designs that you do want. Another one, we call it the Home Depot. Home Depot is also an app. Is also an app that uses AR. And for this one, many of us are constructing, maybe at our homes, at school. You are painting your school. You want to paint a building, but you don't know which color will be best for that particular building. Now, this kind of app, the Home Depot, what it does for you, you go check out the color you want, have your phone, switch on your camera, and point where you want to color. What will happen is that this color, they will show you how the building will look like after putting on that color. They will show you the different colors. Even they can make for you a combination that green will look better, yellow will look much better, this one will look, red will look better. So they will show that for this particular one, this one may look better. Even you look at it yourself and say, this kind of color is much better. Now still, when you look at the quiver, this is also an app whereby you write down your things. Let me say you have drawn, let me say like the way we draw using our hands. You may draw something, and then that particular thing you have drawn, you can turn it, you can color it into any dimensions of your choice. Then, even in the business world, there is Pepsi in 2014 when Pepsi in one of the countries outside in the Western world, Pepsi did not have a lot of customers. So they asked themselves, how can we penetrate into the market? And then they went on and said, we want to penetrate into the market such that people can know how we are doing, how our products are. What did the Pepsi do? Pepsi designed some images. Pepsi went on and designed scenes. And now those scenes were made to appear as if America was being attacked by aliens. So what happened? Very many people came. Like you could look at the picture, you could look at the animations, how things were moving. They thought that they had attacked their country. So a lot of people started coming to check out what had happened. And therefore, by doing so, Pepsi was able to advertise. The campaign attracted very many people to come and just have a look how America, how their country can be attacked by the aliens. So this is the kind of technology that can do that. But there are a lot of things. Even sometimes in the music, as teachers, you may want to teach a certain topic. Let me say in history, you want to teach people about the past and the rest of that. But you do not have those kind of resources you need. You don't need to go to Kasui Toms to be there. That let me take my world class there. You don't need. You may not need to go to the zoo. You may not need to go here and there to have a look at those particular things. You can go virtually. You can go virtually and have a look at all those things when your students are seated in class. One of the common ones now I can relate to in Uganda is New Vision. Many of you read New Vision, you read Bukedde and other newspapers. But whenever you are reading those newspapers, let me use Bukedde, the way you see my Bukedde here. When you see Bukedde here, always they put this tool here on their papers. Now, Bukedde uses an application we call VIDE, V-I-D-E, which stands for Vision Digital Experience. Now, this app of New Vision uses AR technology. By using AR technology, now here, what happens that on your phone, you have, there is a component I will show you later on that can scan. So once you have this New Vision app here, you'll be able to scan. Now, what you are looking at here, this is a video. So you can now turn, this was a real thing that was happening. But now by scanning, you can be able to watch this video on how these gentlemen here on the parade were able to march, on how they were able to perform those different functions. So the kind of technology that helps to do that is what we call the augmented reality, whereby the real life thing, you add on the technology bit of it. That's what we call the augmented reality. So in newspapers, we can use it. Even in our classes, we can utilize it. You can make your own notes, you can make your PowerPoint, and then children can just scan and check out, because there are some experiments or there are some things you may not be able to do in class, and it may require children to have a look on how something is being performed. Take an example. You may not have a laptop. You may not have very many laptops, but you want these students to have a look on how do they turn on a laptop, how do they maybe switch it off, how do they open this application. You may record a video of that, and then you embed that, and then the children can be able to scan at their own convenience, and then they see each and every step. So when we talk about augmented reality, we are relating the physical world with the technology or with the virtual world. So it mixes two things. You are able to have the physical thing, but also you are able to have the other virtual world. And what are some of the tools? Now, if we are to use this kind of augmented reality, this kind of technology, some of the few components that we need, one of them is what we call a smartphone, that you'll need a smartphone if you are to use this kind of technology. Sometimes you may need a tablet. But everyone who has a smartphone, you are in position to use augmented reality as long as you have a phone. Sometimes, even if I know sometimes when you are taking a picture, or when you take a picture, you keep on scanning it to become bigger. What you are doing is the use of that augmented reality. So some of the components we need are smartphones. Then we have what we call also AR glasses. Now, if you don't have a smartphone, we can also have these glasses you are seeing here on the screen, and they can bring that virtual reality. They can also bring that kind of reality to you. So these are some of the tools we do use. One of them is a smartphone or a tablet, and that is one of the main devices. That's why that everyone who has a smartphone, someone who has a tablet, you can be able to use this. There are very many applications on our phones that are built using this kind of technology. And therefore, once you have it, you are in better position to use this kind of technology. Number two, you may need an application, different apps, because sometimes if you do not have that app, you are not in position to have that kind of reality. You may not be able to see it. So when you have the apps will enhance, they will help you to have it in another format. Then built-in sensors like the cameras, the GPS, and the motional sensors. Now, an example here, I can give an example of Google Maps. Google Maps, they use this kind of reality. You as a person, you are moving, but virtually you are when you look at technology wise, you have your phone and you are moving, like you are checking out. Let me get there. When you look at this is a Google map. What happens is that when you are using a Google map, you have the physical person, you moving, but also you're using this technology of the Google Maps to locate the location, to locate the distance. So you are mixing two things, the physical and then the technology world. And that's what we call the augmented reality. So it mixes those two things. And this is where we want to reach and even go beyond, because now the world is moving far beyond even the augmented reality. That you may not need to know the place, but as long as you have this kind of thing, you can be able to locate where you want to be or where you want to go. So that is what we call the augmented reality. And another thing that you may need can be the digital content, and obviously you need the internet. The picture you are seeing on my screen here, it shows you how you can use this kind of application to turn a photo into a 3D. How you can, this is a photo that is on the paper, but you can just point your phone towards this photo on your piece of paper and then turn it into a 3D. You are able to see this side, you are able to see this side, you are able to see the height, you are able to see what is what inside. So when you are explaining some of these concepts to the children about 3D, about what, then they can be able to see them very well. So your picture you have on your paper can be turned into a 3 dimension, such that you can be able to see every other part in details. So that is what we call the augmented reality. So how does this thing work? When you look at your phone, on your phone, you have, when you look at it, it depends on the nature of the phone you have. But this kind of technology, how does it work? Now, this kind of technology, when we are using the smartphones, when you are using the smartphone, it has that Linda scanner. We call it the Linda scanner. It has it. What does this Linda do in technology? Now, the Linda stands for light detection and ranging. When you see L in technology, LIDAR stands for light detection and ranging. Now, that is the sensor that is able to improve. It improves AR by measuring. It measures the distance to the objects using lasers. That is still also the technology. So it is able to measure the distance. When I told you about the Adidas boots, shoes, and the rest of that. Now, what this kind of scanner does, it is able to measure now the distance from where your phone is up to your feet. And then from there, it can help now to better and create a more realistic thing that can accurately fit you into your thing. So that Linda technology is the one that helps in measuring the distance to objects. What it does, it sends the pulses and then it calculates the time and then it returns it back. Even when you look at the Google Maps, also that is the kind of technology that we do have. So what you are seeing on the screen, I was showing you this kind of scanner on the phones, and how it can be used to measure the distance depending on what you want. In case you are in your house, you are somewhere, that is the kind of technology that we can use. So how does it work? Now, there are basically three major steps on how this AR technology works. And what you are seeing on my screen are just the few steps that we can use when we are using. One, you will need a camera. In other words, you need your phone camera. That is the first important thing, that you need the phone what? The phone camera. After the phone camera, you will need a software. A software can be an application, any app on your phone, depending on what you are going to use it for. An example, like I gave you the IKEA, I gave you now the Adidas, also they have those apps, depending on what you are doing. And then we have what you call the screen that displays what you are going to see. However, now in our education context, we can need a camera. You'll need a camera or your phone. You'll need a software. And then from there, you'll go on and display. It can be, you can use your projector, you can use a big screen, and then the children can be able to see things clearly. Yeah, so here, sometimes many of you, when you are going for tours, sometimes you may not need to go for those tours, but you can have them virtually. Those tours can be handled virtually, but that is something we are going to look at in tomorrow's session. How can we create those scenes whereby our children can be able to reach some areas without going there physically, but have that kind of feel that they were there in those different places. And some of the key characteristics, these are some of the key characteristics when it comes to our AR. And why does it matter? One, it improves visualization and understanding. If you ever want your children in class to understand things better, learn always to use simulations. When you look at the cone of learning, any child that uses, or any child that is taught using simulations understands and remembers more than a child that just sees and hears. So simulations are very, very key when it comes to learning something. That's why for many of the things that you learned by touching, by going there, up to now, up to this point, you do still remember them. At least you have something you remember about them. But things that were being told to you, you always do forget them. But also those who have businesses, because I know schools can as well be business centers. Even you as an individual, in case you are going into marketing, you want your products, as well, this technology can be very, very important. So the screen you are seeing here, the photo, this gentleman here was using an app, was trying to purchase those items from a furniture shop and was trying to see how they will look when he puts them at his home. When you put them in the sitting room, how will they look like? So that is what this AR thing does. But if I may ask, do we still need to have very many? The picture you are seeing on my screen is a frog. And many times as teachers, maybe science teachers, biology, you want children to go and catch the frog. Sometimes you want them to do things practically. You want them to open the computers, the laptops. But how many of us can risk to give children our laptop to open? You may fear, you say, what if they spoil it? Now, as we advance in technology, we no longer need to do many of those things. You don't need to go and have very many frogs, but we can design an experience whereby you can have the children cut these frogs. The way you are seeing the frog here, they can cut it and then they do any kind of operation or see whatever thing you need them to see. Be it a computer, be it even geography. You want these children to go and look at mountain or what, those volcanic mountains, they will be able to go and see them using this kind of what? Technology. And now the kind of technology we are going to dive into is now what we call the virtual reality. Now, what you see here, these are some of the experiences. Tomorrow, we shall be looking at how can we come up with such. How can we utilize them in our classroom? How can we develop such that as a school, as an individual, you reduce on the costs? Because maybe in case you're a biology teacher, you'll find out that if you want these children to keep on touching each and everything, you'll find that you need a lot of money. Yet with some of this kind of technology, you just need to design one experiment. After designing that kind of experience, it will be used for years and years and years. Some of you want to drive cars, but you may not be able to afford that car, or you may not know how to drive. This kind of technology we are going to look at now can help you to learn how to drive. And then when you go to the other physical world, you can be able to do it in a much easier way. Some of you have been teaching learners about different mountains, different things, different foods, and the rest of that. And sometimes we do not have those things. But we can take the children there and they see. Even areas, let me say you're teaching electricity. You may not have the opportunity to go and see the dam there in Ginger, how the water is being how electricity is being generated, how those turbines are being turned, and the rest of that. But you can take children virtually and they look at them and they even have a virtual touch onto those particular things. Now, that is the kind of technology we want to look out for. That's the kind of technology we want to introduce to our children. That's the kind of technology. But the most important thing is that some of this technology, our children have interacted with them. You have seen them in 3D movies. Always, you have seen them in those kind of movies. Now, that is the kind of technology that we want to bring into the classroom. And now, the second component we are going to look at is what we call virtual reality. Now, when we talk about virtual reality, for this kind of technology, an individual is immersed into the virtual world. Like you go outside this physical world and you enter into the virtual world. That's what we call the virtual reality. You go away from the earth here, but in a virtual sense. Let me say you want to go to America. You go to America, but in a virtual sense. That's what we call virtual reality. And how does this virtual reality work? Now we are going to look at it. Has different types and we use devices. So when it comes to virtual reality, for it, we immerse you into a kind of space and you'll feel you're away from the earth. You are somewhere there that you want to reach. Now, virtual reality is that kind of technology, is that kind of technique that uses a computer to generate 3D imaginary world. So we go into an imaginary space whereby we start feeling a bit different but close to real life. As I showed you the frog, what happens that our children will be given the devices. They put them on. But inside them, those devices they put on, they will feel as if they are touching the frog. They will feel as if they are cutting. They will feel as if they have reached the mountain. They are seeing the water coming, flowing, as if they are touching. Hey, that's what we call now the virtual world. And that's what we call the virtual reality. So virtual means near. It takes you near to the real thing. It takes you near to that real thing. So that's what we call virtual reality. You are not there, but nearly to that. So you start feeling as if you are doing that. In case you are driving, you feel as if you are driving a car. You start turning it around. You feel you are knocking. Now, that is the kind of technology. Those who have played those video games, that kind of technology is what we call now the virtual the reality. So it involves you to feel. You have that kind of feel. So it allows you to enter and have an interaction with realities. In case you are going for field work in geography, you don't need to go there. Have these children put on those devices and then take them Those children will move from your school, go to Kampala, go to Jinja. They will be even seeing the trees around moving around. So that is the kind of technology we call the virtual reality. And what are some of the devices we use? Now, what you are seeing on my screen, these are the devices we use when it comes to virtual reality. So you can see we have these headsets here, and inside, this is how they look like inside. When you put them on, this is what you put on your head. Then I know you are seeing this lady here. She's holding something here. Now, what the lady is holding, we call them the controllers. Now those controllers act as your virtual hands. You hold them into your hands and you start performing different kind of things the way you would have performed them in your real world. Like in case it is cutting, so those are the ones that that is the technology, those controllers, the ones you use to cut. So they are the ones you use to perform the actions. We call them the what? The controllers. And these are the main devices we use for the virtual reality experiences. Those are the one. And what you are seeing here, this is the lab, but we shall take you tomorrow virtually into that lab and then you have a look at it. But these are the devices you need. You need these glasses, but also you need the controllers such that you can be immersed into the space. So maybe just a break of these devices. Now, the first one, like I've showed you, at UI City, you'll find these glasses there, the white ones. But also they can come in other colors like, let me say, black. Now, those virtual headsets, it is the one that you put on your head such that it immerses you into the computer-generated environment. Yeah. So those are the ones you put onto your head. We have different types depending on your pocket, and then the resources that may be available. Then, so this is an experience. This is one of the nurses. This nurse was trying to check out. So what you are seeing her have in the hands are the controllers. So now this person here, when we take you into the computer generated environment, you are able to control. Take an example, in case you are controlling something like what you are seeing on the screen. So for her inside, this is what she's able to see. So she can be able to move them from one place to another to do whatever thing that she's interested in. So, but however, that environment should be controlled. It is a controlled computer generated environment because if the experiences are not so good, it may lead to a lot of accidents. It may lead to a lot of what? Accidents. So always it must be controlled and we must develop experiences that are going to stimulate children's learning. Now, we have different types of virtual reality and they are put into three categories. The first one, we call it the immersive virtual reality. Then the second one, same immersive. And then the third one, we call it the non-immersive virtual reality. Okay, I'm going to pause a bit such that I can first look through the chat. Yes. Yeah, even if you don't have a projector, this technology can be used. Even if you have a screen, even if you have a phone. But like I'm going to explain the different types of virtual realities. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay. I think now allow me to proceed. I've looked through the chat briefly. Now, we have three types of virtual realities. Now, and here, I know some of you may fear to go and get immersed, but you may want to interact with those three the objects. You may want to see something without getting immersed. Some of you may want to be there to see such that you touch and do that. So now we group them depending on the kind of experience you want. Now the first one is what we call immersive. Now when it comes to immersive, here you get like you put yourself into the actual thing. Here the user feels that they are physically present in the computer generated environment. You are able to interact. An example I can use, take an example. If you are a history teacher and you are handling this topic of maybe World War One, and you have designed your experiences about World War One. So what happens is that depending on how it has been designed, you as the teacher, you'll put on the glasses or the children, and then the children enter into the simulations that have been developed. Like they enter into that environment. So you'll see these children, depending on your role, you'll see them in case you developed it that they will be fighting. You will start seeing the child fight with the soldiers, trying to shoot, trying to do what? So you try to see them performing the actions. Even you find them shouting around, doing this and the other. So that's when they get fully immersed into that particular thing. So for it to be able to have that kind of environment, you need to have the headsets. That one is a must. You must have an headset and you must have a controller. Then also you have what? A screen. That's when you have a screen, like let me say a TV set or a screen that you are going to use to display those things that can be connected together with the VR headsets. So that's when you get fully immersed. So here, and if this is the kind of environment you are going with the children, this is where now you need some people to be around, such that like you need to have a controlled environment whereby it is soft. Like this side is a bit soft, this side and this side, such that this space here, when the children are performing the acts, they don't get what? Accidents. Because God forbid, in case maybe you designed something about World War One, you will see these children trying to fight, to run, and do those actions. So in case your environment is not controlled, you may find a child knocking the wall, and you may not feel it there and then, but it is after sometimes that the child can feel it. In case it is cutting a frog or cutting any specimen or doing a practical, this is where now the child will open the laptop. You will see them touching, you will see them being very happy. And that's when they get fully immersed. So you can design your experience where they can open the laptop fully, they put the screws, they remove this, they put back this, all those kind of experience. So that is the kind. In case this is where you as a geography teacher, you developed something about how these Rift valleys are formed and the rest of that. This is why you will see a child being able to see how a Rift Valley is formed. That's why even these other features, let me say the Daiki, the Lacolith, the Batholith, and the rest of that. That's where the child now can be able to see all those features. How were they formed? How was this performed and the other? In case you are this kind of teacher of agriculture and you want the children to milk a cow, this is where now the child, in case you have designed your experience, this is where you see the child now pulling the hands, trying to milk the cow. So it depends on which kind of experience you have designed. So meaning that we must always pick experiences that are related to what we want these children to acquire. Many of those experiences that you have been just doing, in case you're a biology teacher, you want children to see how does the heart work. Yeah? You want them to see, to have a feel how the heart works. You want them to see those inside parts of the body, everything. This is the kind of technology you can use. So that is immersive. Then we have what we call a non-immersive field. Now, when it comes to non-immersive, this is where you don't need to go into the virtual space. However, here you may just have your computer set and then interact with the experiences, interact with those experiences in 3D without getting immersed. into that kind of environment, because some of you, we may some children or some of us may have those kind of fear that I don't want to go there, I don't want to touch, I don't want to eat. So now for such a case, here you can interact, like you can sit on your laptop. I can maybe give you, let me see whether I still have my GeoGebra here. Let me say this is my experience, and I want to, okay, this is not, I want to just show you how to interact with such, but this is not the environment, but this is, let me just put something here, just to show you how to interact here. Okay, I'm going to first delete this, and I put something small here. 7 z is equal to 9. Now, like in that space, you are able to touch, like use your laptop, you are able to turn it in any sides you want. You are like, you can interact with them without wearing the headsets. So that is the non-immersive one. You are able to turn them in whatever direction you want. You are able to see the axes. Now that kind of thing, you turn it, so you interact with it. So that is the kind of non-immersive thing, that you want the children to see something, to see the angle formed between the two planes. So you turn it around, and therefore they can be able to see from the different angles you have been able to form. So that's what we call the non-immersive. So this one just requires you to have your laptop. Even if you do not have the headsets, you can be able to interact with those kind of experiences that have been designed. Then the last one is what we call the semi-immersive virtual reality. Now this one is between the two. Here you have a sense of immersion, but you remain aware of what you are doing. An example is that you have seen those children when they are like driving the cars, when they go into those, I don't know how they are called, but those rooms whereby you see someone, he can drive, you see them, like you see something displayed on the screen, and the child is having something he is holding, and now they can turn, they can go this side, and this side, and sometimes they are into games, so such things. So that kind of technology, there you get a bit of being immersed into the field, into the reality, into the virtual space, but also you are still aware of your physical environment. But the other first one, the fully immersive, you are not aware of your physical world. Anything can happen because you are not aware of what is really happening outside you, but you are in the computer generated environment. Semi-immersive, it lies between the two. And often for it, we use large screens, projectors, and the rest of that. Those who have been to UI City in the lab, you may have seen some of those screens that they do have in those laboratories. So that is the kind of second technology we do have. Now, what you are seeing here, as we advance now in technology and education, when you are handling, let me say you are handling practicals, you are handling some things that you want the children to touch and feel, you may not go into buying and doing the things. Now, this child here, or this student you are seeing here, is learning how to operate this patient. Now, this patient here, now what the child is seeing, like, let me show you. Now, this is our screen here. This is where the child faces. Now, once the child faces here, the child, what she sees is something of this nature. And now the child will perform. He'll ask that now I'm going to operate. What am I going to do? That I'm going to remove the cloth. That I'm interested in this part. That's why you are seeing this part here open. So the child can be able to open virtually in that computer generated environment. She opens, she can be able to cut, then she removes the maybe whatever thing they want to remove, and they do anything. The same thing happens for whatever subject you do teach, depending on the concept. In case you are handling English, this is where you'll have your kind of environment designed, like your videos designed. Now, what happens, in case you want to take these children to the market, here, children will go to the market. You will take them virtually, they go there, then they can interact with those business ladies in the market. What they do, anything. So that is the kind of technology. But you have to have the experience displayed on the what? On the screen. And then the child will be able to see, and then they will start interacting. So for her, what she sees in real life is this. And now this is why we want now to cut the costs. To cut the costs, that instead of buying 15 frogs, why don't you buy one and then make an experience and then continue using the what? The technology. Yes. So this is the kind of technology that we are going. Yes, like I've said. Okay. So allow me to first continue a bit. Now, still this is biology, but these are some of the experiences we are going to be looking at tomorrow. We are going to look at how can we develop this, because I know some of us learned about animal cells, learned about those things, but even up to this point, we have never seen them. Even we don't know how they look like, but we still hear them, that those were the animal cells. And we could mention all the parts, the cytoplasm, the cell membranes, and the rest of that. But you actually don't know what it means. Even some teachers, they have never seen them, how those things look like. So those are some of the things we are going to look at. Some of us here teach ICT. But we have never even opened a computer inside. We don't know, much as we talk about the parts, that this is this, this is this, this is this. But we don't know what is actually contained inside there. Yet with this kind of technology, you can open, see whatever thing you want inside. But like I've said, it will depend on which level you want to use. It can be immersive, semi, or none, depending on your resources and what you really want to have. So these are some of the things. We shall be looking at. So when it comes to these applications, one of them can be in the medical fields. It can be in the education field. We are going to use them a lot in the education In the education field. For entertainment, they can be well there. Then they have quite a number of advantages. More so, like I've told you, when it comes to learning, it enables learners to engage with content. They are able to engage with it and love. So it improves on their retention capacity. They're able to understand the subject further. For those who have been using simulations in your classes, you may have noticed how learners enjoy your lessons, how learners can be active in the actual lesson. So that is the kind of technology. However, I would say that also there are some disadvantages as we go into the technology. So we are going to say that it is very good to use, but we also need to be very careful on some of the disadvantages it can bring. Like any device we use, anything technology, any technological device you use, it has a disadvantage. It has a difference. More so if you overuse it. So it is not that you use it for all your lessons, but we want to say that for lessons that require practicability, can we have this kind of technology used? So this is the kind of future that we want, that we are visualizing for our children now and even the time to come. We are saying that if these children of ours are able to interact with this kind of technology early, then I'm very sure and convinced that by the time they reach another level, they will be much better. So that is something we want to embrace as early. The world has already moved. And we need as well to move in that particular line. I saw some question in the chat. Someone asking which kind of, I saw as if I had language. Yes. Now, when you are virtual reality uses a coding language known as the virtual reality modeling languages. That's the language it uses. We call it the virtual reality modeling language, VRML. That is the language that it uses when we have these experiences being designed. So I want to first end at this point and invite some few questions before we look at a quiz to pick out, to check whether we have picked something concerning virtual reality and AR. But I'm going to be answering some of the questions. Let me hope, Fatuma, I've answered your which softwares do we need other than hardware? Now the softwares, we are going to use Eon. That one is for tomorrow. We shall use the Eon software to have these experiences. Which apps can we use? That is for tomorrow. Now tomorrow we are going to dig deep into the softwares that we shall use. Yes, and each one of you, depending on the accounts the institute will give you, you'll have an account where you can now develop your own experiences, but also you can be in position to use those experiences that have been already developed. How do we create a virtual environment to create the simulations? Now, the virtual environment, that one we are going to handle it tomorrow. We are going to handle it tomorrow on how we create those particular experiences. Okay. Yeah. Yes, we are going to use Eon XR as part of the software tomorrow. Yes, those are the softwares we are going to use. Oh, yes. Now, the experience tomorrow, we are going to look at 3D and then the 130 experiences. And then we shall look at a bit of mixed reality and then the extended reality. Okay. VR devices are quite expensive. That is very true. They are very expensive. How can UICT support the teachers on this platform to acquire these VR sets? Okay. That one, I know there are some schools in the country that have been able to acquire some of these tools, but I know if schools really are willing to embrace the technology, UICT can support, but the most important thing, we need first learn how to use them before, because I know UICT has quite a number of gadgets. For the meantime, I know we can be sharing. Once you approach them, you can get them, use them, and then return them. But I know we can keep sharing before we acquire ours. Is it possible to buy some of these gadgets? Yes, you can buy some of these gadgets for your personal use, but also for business use. My question goes for last training. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, like when we train you here or when we give you this kind. Yes,
Stephen,
Mr. Francis.
can I go through some of the questions?
Yes, Mr. Francis. Go through as I get ready for the quiz.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. I just want to appreciate the members and their questions they have asked. This is shows that they are really interested in what we are trying to impact to them. One of the questions that was asked was how UICT can support schools to enhance AVR technology using Eon virtual reality. UICT can support schools through 4 practical pillars. One, capacity building. This particular one we are doing, train teachers on Eon. Eon is a platform, it's a software where you can be able to create lessons, not just for consumption, but create lessons. You can turn your content you already have that you are delivering into your class using Eon into AVR content. And then you can also, we are also going to, you also can also support you through online refresher clinics and the communities of practice like we are doing now. We are also working out a way how we can provide a certification path for teachers as AVR and VR facilitators. Another one of the biggest uh, thing UICT can work with the teacher is content access and localization. Already we have said that we have Ion platform where you can be able to turn your content that you are delivering in your class right from maybe P1 up to senior 6. All teachers have their content, but they can be able to translate that content using Ion platform into AVR. So when we work together with the teachers, we can provide schools with access licenses or assets or libraries on the Ion platform, whereby a teacher can be able to translate his content and even have the rights, patent rights, so that nobody can have access to it, but only him. And this can be able to help you uh, turn your content to AVR. Then we can also support. We can do co-create local content. We can work together and do co-content creating. I know, like we have said, Aeon. I mean, AVR is a bit expensive, but now that UICT has a platform, it has licenses. You as a teacher, you have content. We can work. We can co-create local content together for the purpose of working together and supporting each other, schools and also teachers. We can develop a shared national AVR repository where which you can host. I know some schools already have set up content for their students. So we can have that content turned into AVR and can be utilized. Maybe have a one central place where it can be uh, shared from. Then we have access to the platform and infrastructure. We already have a setup lab. We already have a setup lab and a platform which is online. You can access it anywhere. We are going to see this tomorrow, and you can access that using your phone. We can access this using your phone, your tablet, and you can be able to have lower cost AVR headsets. The headsets that Mr. Kaziba is showing us, those are high end, but they are also lower cost AVR headsets, which are not very expensive, which can be meaning afforded by any other person. Anybody, any teacher can be able to afford. They're almost like specs. They are light and do exactly like what Mr. Kaziba is showing us. And then also we have centralized UIC managed cloud AVR platform, which can be accessed by all schools. As long as you as teacher and you attach to a school, we can give you a license. UICT has 5,000 licenses of Eon, and so far we have used only about 2,000. We have about 3,000 licenses which can be utilized by teachers to create content, to use the platform, and also be able to utilize it. The platform is integrated with AI, which makes it easier for you to utilize the AI resources to create content. Then we also have licenses. We also have license for commercial enterprises. When I talk about commercial enterprises, I'm talking about things like farming, tourism, agriculture, and so many others. So these licenses can be helped to develop content which can be used to for example, if for I don't have resources to go and watch maybe elephants in the national park. I can do a virtual tour. I can develop a virtual tour even a school can be able to develop a virtual tour of its school, its environment. So these are opportunities where we just need to be creative. You remember when I was introducing the program, I said you are not just teachers, but now you are becoming innovators. You are becoming what? Innovators using these technologies. So we can work together as partners. UICT can work together as partners. We can work with the schools which are interested, and we see how we roll out this program. Then one of the questions was, what items do our phones have that can enhance teaching and learning? I think people who have been part of our digital literacy training, there is a course which we call using computer and mobile devices. I think the person who asked this question here, I think you need to undertake that course. You'll be able to know what your phone can be able to do. Very many things that your phone can be able to do will help you enhance teaching and learning in this digital world we are in. I'm not going to do much about that, but encourage the person who asked the question to get to that. Then somebody asked, does AVR apply to physics, mathematics? Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Physics, high impact, virtual experiences, eh? Optics, electricity, magnetism, all these are areas that AVR can properly do. We have things like motions, forces, waves, theododynamics. All these are things that AVR can really demonstrate to anybody. Then we have things that like dangerous experiences, expensive experiences are done safely by AVR. I know some of the chemical, like people doing chemical reactions in physics, which involve some reactions of chemicals. AVR can enable such experiments to be done. Then the same applies to mathematics. The 3D geometrics, solid vector transformation, all these are things that can be done by AVR. Graphics and functions and the massive 3D. And I want to show you that we are going to have a demonstration here on Friday with some of our partners, and we are going to demonstrate how you can use data science using AVR. So AVR has come and is part of our life, and we can be able to utilize it in all spheres. So we can do that in statistics, graphics, 3Ds, and these are very critical things. Then one of the questions which one of the participants asked was, how do we create virtual environment and simulations? I think this will be tomorrow's lecture. This is tomorrow's lecture, and I'm sure Mr. Kaziba is going to take us step by step and how we can be able to create a virtual environment simulations, even using your phone. Using your phone, you can be able to create a virtual environment. Same applies to AVR for biology. For biology, I think Mr. Kaziba explained that when he demonstrated a frog, which was being bisected by students. So that is available. That can be done. What software is needed? Mr. Kaziba has explained that, and tomorrow we shall be demonstrating with one of the softwares that are available. Then program languages and tools in demand of AVR and today. I think to be able to create animations, 3Ds, I think it's important also, like if you're a teacher, maybe you also want to enhance your skills in ICT. There are some basic skills that one needs to learn. Basic programming languages like Unit Engine, as JavaScript, Python, Blender. These are programming languages, but now this is specifically for those who want to be programmers. As a teacher, you may not need to be a programmer, but you're just a user of these programs. So you may not need to have much of these program languages, but as a teacher, you can encourage your students to enhance further skills, especially in the IT environment, to learn this. I think somebody also asked, AVR devices are expensive. How can UIC support teachers? I think this is critical, and UICT can support in practical, inclusive ways, like phone-based AVR. First, we already have, most of us have smartphones. So what we can do now is, how can we use the smartphones we have to apply the AVR? And these are some of the things we want to, when we continue when we continue interacting, we shall have to see how we can be able to use that. Then we can do shared AVR sets, like we have said. The sets are very expensive, and what we do, we can share. If a teacher has a program or a school has a program and they want to use this AVR kits, we can work together between the school and UICT, and maybe you can have shared access to our facilities. Since our facilities are not just for UICT, but for the nation, for the nation, for the nation. So we work with schools, work with the all people who are involved in this ecosystem. So we can see how to work out all this. Mr. Kaziwa, I think I have tried to explain some of the questions that have been raised, and maybe you can proceed with uh the quiz. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Francis. So, members, what we are going to do, I'm going to paste the link in the chat. The link is there. Yes, yes. So I'm going to ask you click on that link and then enter using your name. Yes, I have closed the link. The link is closed, so you may not be able to register. Yes, for those who came in very late. In case it is failing, I can send the code. So you just click on that link and then you'll be able to enter the meeting. Okay, okay. Yeah, so once we hit 80, okay, okay. I think we are going to start. I'm seeing our percentage at least as our percentage is at 60. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you, members. I think allow me not to. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that was just a brief to check through how we have performed. But I want to tell you that the marks have been so nice. The marks have been so good. At least I'm saying 90s, 90s, 90s. Yeah. So the marks are very good. Yeah, which shows that at least members have been able. And then a few, I think because a few missed out some few questions. There are some few questions we kept on missing. Yeah. Okay. Well done. So tomorrow, our sessions tomorrow, people want to see the leaderboard. Just the leaderboard. Oh, just the leaderboard. I think I showed the leaderboard, but maybe I can just display the 10, maybe. But we are there. We are there. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to look at people want to see the marks. Okay, I'm going to let me show you the first 10, no problem. Eh, so you can look at the 98% because it was out of 55. Yeah. But you could see that people had 89, 89, 90, like that. Yes, 87. You can see the marks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow, we are going to look at how we can create experiences and the emails you have provided in the registration form are the emails we want to use, the emails we are going to use to create for you accounts on the software we shall use. Those are the emails. So make sure that you have filled in the right emails and you receive an email. You receive an email. I think it may be today or early tomorrow for those particular, for the different things, because we shall use it when we are learning to create an experience tomorrow and then how we can utilize them in the classroom. So those are the ones we shall mainly look at tomorrow. So tomorrow we shall mainly look at the software and then we shall look at how we can create our own experiences for any of the particular topics we want to cover. So for those who have not registered, just fill in that form before we close off the session. But that is what we shall look at tomorrow. With that, allow me to invite Mr. Francis such that we can have this session closed. Mr. Francis?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much, dear participants. We appreciate and we look forward to be with you tomorrow. I want to, to emphasize that I think tomorrow we are not allowing anybody who has not been there today. We are only going to consider people who attended fully today, and then they are the ones whom we shall allow to participate tomorrow. Tomorrow we are likely to have special guests joining us. So we pray that all of us we are able to attend. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate my change agents whom I've seen here. I want to appreciate your participation in these programs has made our work very easy, and we look forward to continue working with you. We want also to see you as our change agents for AVR. in your schools where you are established. I'm not sure whether some of you already got licenses, because you need to have AVR licenses so that you can be able to create experiences wherever you are. There are many opportunities with AVR. I don't know whether some of you have been able to come to the hub. There's a gentleman there who is doing a lot of work using AVR, developing content, both for academics and also for commercial. And he's making a lot of money. And he's a global citizen. I can say he's a global citizen. And I asked him, "What is your profession?" And he told me he's a teacher by profession. He was lecturing in Makerere, but he found himself uh, tied up with the work of administration in Makerere, and he preferred to self-employ himself to utilize these opportunities that he gained through acquiring these skills. So there are many things that we can do. If you develop your content and you uploaded it on the Eon platform will even pay you. You'll enter an agreement with the Eon platform. Because your content is not only it's going to be used by very many people. So anybody who accesses it, he has to pay for it. So these are opportunities that we can emulate and take on. And we want to see these things spreading. They're expensive now because there are only a few people who are utilizing it. But if we are all of us versed with these technologies and we are applying them in our environment, we are able to use the few available tools we have, then we shall be able to promote AVR in Uganda and the world over. And I want to assure you that as UICT and basically Uganda, we are highly advanced in this technology. Because recently we got a team from Brazil who thought that they were coming to deliver AVR training technology at UICT. But at the end of the day, they found themselves being taught by UICT. And we somehow working with them to be able to deliver these technologies across the continents. So when we are looking for brand ambassadors for AVR, we should not look elsewhere. We should look at our own. We should look at our own. I want to appreciate Mr. Kaziva. Mr. Kaziva, because of his interest and passion in the subject, he's now an expert, better than me and my other team who have these facilities within ourselves. So I want to see next time Mr. Mobiru delivering these programs to many, many other people out there. I want to see Dollar. I want to see Boaz. I want to see Bwambale. I want to see many, many of you I see out there being our brand ambassadors of these programs. We invite schools. Already we have schools like Iganga Girls School who have written to us. They want to work with us over this AVR. We invite as many as out there who already have identified the potentials of AVR to work with us. Tomorrow we like to have the ICT committee joining us, Parliament, in this session. So I urge you to fully participate. And we want to see people who have been there today, the ones who will be joining tomorrow, so that we don't have people asking, why, what is this one? How is this one happening? This one, we didn't understand it well. At least I want to appreciate the, the, the assessment that Mr. Kaziba has given us. It shows that at least all of us, we are at a certain level. So means when we start tomorrow's session of scenario analysis, scenario formulation, we shall be all at a particular level of understanding. So I thank you and wish you a good day. We are going to refund our data. We're going to refund our data. That's why earlier I posted that you need to register with your email, with your mobile number, to make it easier for us to our team in account to remit that data refund. I want to thank you and wish you a good afternoon. Let's keep in touch. Mr. Kaziba, do you have something to say?
Not really. Okay. Have a
I think
good day.
we have kept time from 10 to midday. So tomorrow also let's keep time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you and bye-bye,
Maybe the
everyone.
audience has something to say. Someone to pass a vote of thanks from the audience.
I think you have answered Dora's question.
Yes, Bwambale want to pass a vote of thanks. Bwambale, vote of thanks.
Yes, please. Good afternoon, members. Hope I'm clear.
Very clear.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity that UICT has really offered most of us. Mr. Francis, under your good leadership at UICT, the likes of Mr. Kaziva and other instructors that we have had chance to meet both physically and online. I really take this opportunity to say that thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough for for what some of us have benefited from this institution that we only got to know about through media. But when you get to look at the impact that it has had onto us, really, we have grown maturely when it comes to this area of IT. Most of these devices would not have had chance to interact with. I recall my instructor, Mr. Chimbugwe, with whom I had a chance to get into the UICT virtual lab and had my first experience with those VR. That was surely had actually my first interaction with the interactive board. UICT, thank you. The many friends, the likes of Moses, the dollar, many to name, please. I encourage you that let's keep the spirit in supporting the courses of UICT and also trying to mentor our trainees so that the numbers can increase. For the more numbers we have, also the higher the UICT values or scores at the global levels improve. With these few remarks, please, UICT, continue engaging our head teachers to embrace these technologies in schools so that we can also easily be allowed to have these sessions integrated maybe somewhere in our extra timetables. I beg to submit and say good day to everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Wambale. I want to also thank you, Mr. Wambale, for having been nominated one of the super instructor for Cisco. I want to appreciate Mr. Kaziva. I think Anthony Chimbugwe, Bambale and Humphrey Mutesi for having scooped the super instructor for Cisco. This is very wonderful. And you have made UICT a super academy for Cisco in the region, not only for Uganda, but in the African region. This is because of the work that you as digital change agents you are doing. And I pray that we meet in Nairobi next month on 12th. I think it will be a very good opportunity if all the guys who were nominated as superstar, you go to receive your award from Cisco. It will be so wonderful for UICT. And I want to assure everybody here that we can all become global citizens and connected if we work hard through these platforms. I want to wish you the best and I wait to see you tomorrow. I think wish you a good day. Bye.